Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming along today to join us for our press conference with our very distinguished guest. My name is David McNeil. I'm a freelance journalist and a member of this club for some time. Today's guest, of course, for many of you won't need an introduction at all. He's the governor of Tokyo, Yoichi Masuzoe. As you know, the Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo are still 6 years away, but the governor is deeply involved in trying to make sure that the world's biggest sporting event runs smoothly. He's pledged to use the Games to make Tokyo the world's #1 city. But critics have already lined up to call the Games too costly, too big, and environmentally harmful. The criticism has, we hear, and he can confirm this, persuaded the government to rethink some aspects of the Games, and hopefully he'll discuss that in the questions. In an effort to learn from London's success, the London Games, of course, were a huge success. He's just returned actually from London to talk to people over there, and he says he came away very impressed with many of the city's initiatives, including its use of eco-friendly bicycles and its revival of its shabby East End. He says the roads in London are narrow, which is very similar to those in Tokyo. Lest we forget, the Olympics, of course, is not the only issue on his packed agenda. His jurisdiction extends all the way to the Ogasawara and the Izu Islands, which have been plagued of late, as I'm sure you've seen from the news, by Chinese vessels suspected of coral poaching. He is, of course, one of the most famous faces in Japan. He's a former scholar and TV commentator. He was elected to the House of Councillors in 2001, and he served as Health, Labour and Welfare Minister under the governments of Shinzo Abe, Yasuo Fukuda and Taro Aso from 2007 to 2009. Please give him your best attention. We have an hour. He says he's going to talk for 20 minutes. We'll hope to have lots of lively questions. Don't be afraid to ask them. Dozo. And please, if you haven't already, switch off your mobile phones. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Dave McNeil. Thank you for your kind introduction. David, just you mentioned the Ogasawara Island, so I'll say some words about that. I will fly to Ogasawara Islands the 1st of December. I mean, the next week, just to inspect what is happening there. And I will have the talks with the fishermen and the people living in these islands. I have really the vast territory to protect. And I asked the Prime Minister Abe and also to Chinese government with various channels, just calm down these fishermen and say directly, obey the rules and the laws of our nation and international law, and also protect important environment, red corals. So now I'm checking the number of vessels every day. Today there are 4. Yesterday there are 3. So maybe I hope when I will fly over the island, there will be 0. Anyway, so I'll start my initial talks. As you remember, in 1964, 50 years ago, on October 10th, under a clear autumn sky like today, the national delegation of the athletes paraded into the stadium in step to the Olympic march. On that day, people sensed the arrival of a new era in the bright future projected by the Olympics. I was a high school student. At that time, I said to myself that, well, this is really the end of the World War II. We started new epoch. As if guided by that vision for the future, affluence spread across Japan, and of course, Shinkansen, as you know. And our country rose to the point where it was lauded as #1. However, during the decline that followed, known as a lost 2 decades, the stagnation, deflation, and the economy disheartened the Japanese, and we lost our confidence and pride. The 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games, what will change our course? First, we must accelerate the development of Tokyo to achieve our 2020 target. However, 2020 is not our final goal. We must make the Games a springboard to a bright future beyond 2020. To lead 2020 Games to success, we first devoted our full effort to review of the venue plan. I hold two important roles here. As the governor of Tokyo, I must think about the shape of Tokyo after the Games and work to raise the quality of life of our citizens, Tokyoites. And as the head of the host city, I have the responsibility of fulfilling our promise for solid delivery of the Games. In order to fulfill these responsibilities, I have now made several decisions concerning our Games Foundation plan, which will be submitted next February. These decisions were based on close discussions with the IOC and athletic federations, inspiration drawn from my observation in London, as David just mentioned, and many other considerations. Of the 10 facilities to be newly constructed by the Tokyo government, we have decided to cancel the construction of the badminton and basketball venue in Umenoshima Island. Existing facilities will be used in place. We have also canceled the construction of the sailing venue in Wakasu. And we are now examining the renovation of the use of the existing yacht training facilities there. Additionally, the plans for the Sea Forest Waterway venue for rowing and canoe sprint have undergone a drastic review to deal with the soaring construction costs. With regard to the construction of the canoe slalom venue at Kasai Rinkai Park, the history behind the park's creation and environmental concerns have led to the decision to use a neighboring plot owned by the Tokyo government instead. While all of the other venues will be constructed as originally planned, we will continue to evaluate the impact on each location, including on existing park facilities. These revisions are expected to reduce total cost of the construction by about 200 billion yen. I should say I'm a budget cutter. On the other hand, we should not focus solely on the reducing construction costs. It is important to strive to achieve a balance with a goal of building facilities that can be used and enjoyed by our residents after the Games. I believe that this time the re-examination has been able to transform our 2020 Games plans into a plan to host the best Games ever and to leave Olympic legacies that have true value for the residents of Tokyo. The 2020 Games are a major chance for us to convey the attractive qualities of Tokyo to the world. Grasping this opportunity, we must work to further refine this appeal. Culture and the arts are important elements contributing to a city's worth. I want to make the 2020 Games the best ever in terms of culture as well, and evaluate Tokyo to be the best city of the culture in the world. As the Olympic cultural program begins to take shape, we will incorporate content that is diverse and attractive. To this end, Tokyo government must first have its own firm global strategy for the culture, and so a new cultural vision will be formulated within this fiscal year. We will also build an environment that allows foreign tourists to have a more comfortable stay. Installation of the free Wi-Fi on Toei, run by the government. Toei buses will be followed up by the introduction of the service at major, also Toei subway stations. Such efforts will make it easier for visitors to access the information they need and enhance overall convenience. We'll also decide on policy for the use of digital signage and work to make signs multilingual. In preparation for the 2020 Games, we will raise language volunteers, and I hope this will serve as an opportunity to have a volunteer spirit taken root. On another note, with the 2020 Games approaching, in order to prevent passive smoking at restaurants and other establishments, last month we launched a committee to gather opinions on this issue from experts and industry organizations. I hope to advance studies on this issue while gathering a wide range of opinions. We are also focusing on overseas PR efforts to raise Tokyo's presence and acclaim. As we facilitate such initiatives, with the enormous cooperation of FCCJ, thank you very much indeed, we were, for the first time, able to invite 6 journalists from abroad to stay in Tokyo from late September to the end of last month. They conducted various interviews, including one with me. I had a really chat with them, and I'm very happy. I was very happy with these young journalists. And when they returned back home, they wrote some kind of articles. And with a fresh perspective, as I said, they wrote in various media about many attractions and strengths of Tokyo that we often take for granted. I felt that this was a very meaningful project. One journalist wrote something about Japanese sake. This is one of the good aspects of the Japanese tradition and the gastronomy, if you like. We plan to continue and expand this program to invite journalists to Tokyo. I'd like to continue this project. And by directly explaining Tokyo's latest policy to you, as I am doing today, we hope to improve our support to the overseas media so that you can let the world know about the attraction of Tokyo. Another key element in successfully staging Olympic and Paralympic Games, a really festival of peace, would be for Tokyo to strengthen its friendly relations with other cities and countries of the world. Even when difficult issues exist between countries, like the Ogasawara issues between China, or the Senkaku issues, or Takeshima issues, and the comfort lady issues, so forth, cities can build positive relations, and they can at times even help diplomacy at a national level. With such thoughts, I visited Beijing in April and Seoul in July, and rebuilt relations with our important partners in Asia. As you know, in November in Beijing at the APEC meetings, Mr. Abe and Mr. Xi could, have a summit meeting. So this is one of the accumulation of our efforts of city diplomacy. And also I visited Berlin and London from October 27th to November 2nd. In London, I participated in an active discussion at Chatham House and the city, the center of the finance, for major capital cities to deepen their friendship and address common challenges together, or benefit the cities themselves and their citizens. I just plan to build a win-win relationship with cities of the world and heighten Tokyo's power. I met Mr. Boris Johnson, and he's a tough guy, and but still he's conservative, and we had a good chat. And also, on my way back to Tokyo, I just stopped at, not at that time, when I was in Siberia, I just stopped in Moscow, and I met Mayor of Moscow, Sobyanin, who is the right hand of the President Putin. So we had a good chat. So this is one of the charm of the city diplomacy. So it's only 6 years to go before the 2020 Games. So we'll complete a new basic strategy for city diplomacy which will allow us to achieve maximum effects through more efficient and strategic actions. Now, let me speak about our effort to make Tokyo a global economic city. In order to guarantee further vitality in Tokyo, it would be necessary to build an environment that will facilitate corporate activities and create conditions ensuring that businessmen will succeed if they come to Tokyo. We will accomplish three things to make Tokyo City with a welcoming environment for business. First, we will promote the development of an international business hub using a special zone program which eases regulations to draw out the potentials of the private sector to the maximum. 10 large-scale urban development projects will be implemented in central Tokyo. Transportation node, convention, and other functions will be strengthened, and centers for international business and drug creation will be established. Pharmaceutical, the center. Second, we will build an environment that will make it easier for foreigners to do business. Through one-stop procedure in English, we will simplify the complex administration procedures that needs to be taken for overseas companies to set up Japanese subsidiaries. And the period from application to the company establishment will be greatly shortened. You come to just one office in Tokyo, you will submit every document in English. It's okay. This is our deregulation. In addition, we will increase serviced apartments. International schools, we'll have some international schools because the education of the children are very important, most important thing for you, for example. And medical institutions accommodating foreigners in order to build a comfortable living environment for our international community. Number three, we will make Tokyo a global financial center that aligns with the city of London and New York's Wall Street. I had a chat with the experts at the city of London, and I think that London is marvelous in the sense that, for example, if I remember correctly, 75% of all the bankers working here, there in London is foreigners, for example. And all informations, data, people concentrated in London. This is the strength of London that Tokyo has not. So I'd like to follow the model of London. Because I was successful in receiving the support of a national government and the economic sector, we have been able to establish a system supported by the full nation. I have a close ties, relationship with Prime Minister Abe and the Cabinet Secretary Suga, and we have the regularly conversation and even over telephone, and we are absolutely 100% okay to promote this kind of international Tokyo. The Tokyo government will be able to make its own effort to create investment opportunities using metropolitan-owned land. And we will hope to use this to attract the world's money to Tokyo. Lastly, let me speak about our energy policies. I'll speak about promoting the spread of the use of hydrogen, which is a promising next-generation energy. With fuel cell vehicles soon to be marketed in Japan, I think in December 15th, the expanded use of hydrogen will finally begin. Last Friday, I took a test drive on the streets around the Tokyo Metropolitan Government building. Although the car was a large sedan, that's a Toyota car, it had good acceleration and it was a quiet and very comfortable ride. But the problem is number of stations. So the Tokyo government has set a strategic target of having 100,000 FCVs, these vehicles, and 80 hydrogen stations in Tokyo by 2025. And this will be benefited in our long-term vision, which will be formulated by the end of this year. I am now writing this vision. As a first step toward this goal, at the Metropolitan Assembly session that starts from tomorrow, we will propose a supplementary budget to subsidize the purchase of FCVs and the construction of hydrogen stations. Now, you know, the Toyota's FCVs will be sold for about 7 million yen. But with a metropolitan government subsidy of 1 million, I will give 1 million yen. And government give 2 million yen. That makes 3 million yen. That you can buy this car with 4 million yen. That is much cheaper than the, you know, another luxurious sedan car. And also, you know, the station, gasoline station. Do you know how much it costs here in Tokyo? 100 million yen, gas station. And hydrogen station costs 5 times more, 500 million yen. But we'll give it subsidized. And normally, just 1 million yen, the same. But for those entrepreneurs, companies, medium and small scale companies, we'll give all the money. So they pay nothing. So that we have to give this kind of, you know, the subsidies. If not, it's almost impossible. Even if you have a car, such a beautiful car, where to, you know, for the supply. Anyway, it was really my great pleasure to speak with you today on the subject of Tokyo's policies focusing on 2020 and beyond, and some recent noteworthy efforts we are taking. The 2020 Games provides the last chance, I said the best and the last chance for Japan to rise again. As the governor of Tokyo, the capital of Japan, and the leader of the host city, I shall carry out my mission to open up a bright future for Japan and for Tokyo. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, my head is still reeling from the prospect of all that free Wi-Fi in Tokyo. And as for sake, well, you don't have to sell sake because that stuff sells itself, right? Can we have questions, first of all, from the working press? These are the 2 tables in front of me. And then we'll open the floor up to everybody else. If I see a hand, I'll grab it. This gentleman over here. Can you make sure you identify yourself and your organization? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your great presentation. I am Takanori Eto from Eco News. Well, my question is a little bit straight about your presentation, but about the issues raised up in this November about your political funds. Well, in 2011 and 2012, your 2 Seiji Dantai, political organizations, officially registered organizations, expensed 9 million yen to buy paintings, arts, and lithographs, others, under the name of political activity, when you were upper house member. Also, Asahi Shimbun...
Let me interrupt you. This question I also clearly answered at a press conference at Tokyo Press. So you follow, and Asahi Shimbun carried the next day to correct their answers. So you can check this in order to save the time. I also clearly answered.
Wait a moment. We are not Aksha Club members, and I have more to ask for you. And I have another issue on your political fund expenditure. So can I keep on?
Well, if you have a question that the governor has not already answered, so he says he's answered these questions before.
I answered clearly.
Do you have a new question that wasn't covered?
Yes, and your political organizations paid to you according to the Seiji Shikinshu Shogokusho income and expenditure depot reports I read here. Those 2 political bodies paid 50 million yen at office rent to the house you own and you live, and the payee is named Masuzoe Seiji Keizai Kenkyūjō in your own house. It exists in residential Setagaya town.
Yeah, let me interrupt you. I know what you'd like to ask me, but thing is, this is really according to the law, and this is based upon the contract, right? And there is no problem at all. If you go to the tax office directly and check everything, my company clearly submitted the report, legally accepted by tax office, and I own much money. Not so much, but anyway, I'm writing books, not only my salaries as governor, I have an additional, the gains. So each year I clearly declare what I earned to the tax offices. So everything is clear. You go to tax offices if you ever, without attending, without waiting for your question, tax will ask these questions. So this is really waste of time. These other, journalists would like to ask.
I'm going to agree with him because there are other issues we want to discuss. So can I cut you off, please, and we'll move on to the next question. And if there's time at the end of the press conference,
I clearly answered, right?
If there's no other hands up at the end of the press conference, you can't hog the microphone. I'm sorry, you got a question. So if we have time at the end of the press conference, if there's no other hands up, you can ask another question. All right?
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Tax law is different from political funds regulation law.
No, you don't understand our legal system and fiscal system. Anyway.
Any other questions? This gentleman here.
From Radio Nikkei, Hasegawa.
Hi.
I appreciate your statement on hydrogen age.
Hi.
It could be good demonstrate chance on Tokyo Olympic. And could you tell me another aspects as EVA, electric vehicle, or renewable energy policy? Do you have any idea to symbolize Tokyo Olympic, not only hydrogen age?
Well, in London, I had a chance to speak at the Chatham House and the Japan Society. And someone asked me the question, the 50 years ago, 1964 games left us the Shinkansen. So what will you leave to the Tokyo people after 2020? So my answer was hydrogen society and the environmentally, a good environmental situation. So that, for example, maybe that will be 2030, but in 6 years, if possible, for example, in Toyosu, Ariake, or these, the village of athletes, I'd like to, kick all the gasoline cars out of this area, and only the hydrogen or EVA or this kind of cars that will create very good condition for the city, and and summer it's very hot and very humid in Tokyo, and but the only thing that this FCV will give us is only the water, so that will cool the road. So that's my answer will be environment, and hydrogen society.
Thank you, Governor. My name is Khaldoun Azhari for Panoramic News. I have 3 questions on behalf of many foreigners who are supposed to come to Tokyo.
Yes.
First question, the ATM machines in Tokyo and maybe in Japan works until 7 o'clock in the evening, and they are increasing demand that they work 24 hours. And second issue about mobile phones, they don't work according to the Japanese system. You have to buy a new phone or something. It's very complicated. The chip is locked. So do you think you can apply pressure on the phone companies to unlock it? Third question is, one journalist might come to my building and stay, and in our mailbox, every night we receive a lot of delivery sex service flyers full of pictures. So it's very embarrassing, and this is allowed in Japan for a long time. So do you think this will be encouraging for tourists to come or embarrassing? Thank you.
What is the first question?
The first one was 24-hour ATMs. Although I can go to convenience stores, but second one is mobile phones, unlock mobile phones, and the other one is stop sex flyers.
Could you say again the first question? The
He
convenience store?
No, he wants 24-hour ATMs. He wants 24-hour bank ATMs.
I see. Well, the last question, I have no power to stop this kind of delivery, but the freedom of the expression. So it's maybe up to the owner of the apartment house, or but for the moment there is no law, there is nothing to keep this kind of delivery.
Don't look at me.
I don't know. And mobile phone, well, I know they are so complicated, the system. But one of my concern is even here in Tokyo, sometimes in some spots when during your conversation, suddenly cut, and especially between, for example, Kasumiya-seki to Shibuya, number 3 Shotokosuku line, at least 3 times, cut. And I asked these companies not to improve this situation. I'm doing the free Wi-Fi, but even the mobile phone. But the problem is these companies compete to each other. I don't know if I can make this one system or not. And this is really the task of Minister of Economy or Minister of Transportation or Minister of another national ministry. And as for the 24 hours ATM, it's very, if it's open, it's good. But this leads you to, this leads to some kind of crime. So that's what I prefer is internet banking. You can do that 24 hours out of 24 hours. That's what I'm doing because I'm so busy. I can't go even to the ATM, and I'm free and safe. But even the convenience store, sometimes robbers come, and this is another question of the security of the town. So I propose you to make use of the internet banking. Okay.
Peter, the back. The back.
Glasses fixed. Michael Fitzpatrick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Michael Fitzpatrick, freelance journalist.
All bald men look alike to me.
Simple question. Why hydrogen, not bicycles?
Thank you very much for a kind question. I will promote bicycles also, like Boris Bike in London, and I'm making many efforts. So my answer is both, hydrogen and bicycle. I love bicycles, and the bicycle lanes will be doubled. The length of bicycle lanes will be doubled by in 6 years. Those are.
This lady here.
You have a bicycle renting scheme in place.
I have shared cycle system in Chiyoda and Koto, Minato, and Shinagawa they are doing. And what I'm doing is, if these wards adopt different systems, that doesn't work. So I'm guiding these, head of the wards to follow the same kind of system. So that will work. I hope so. So you can try. I can take you to one of the, rental cycle. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
This lady here, please. And then gentleman at the back, and then Carson. Yeah, Carson, do you have your hand up?
May I speak Japanese? It's so hard to me to explain. 大変松添先生がガバナーが大変オリンピックにお金がかかるっていうことをあちらこちらで言ってらして、寄付も相当集められていらっしゃるお姿を拝見してるんですが、私が住んでいるところで86号線っていう補助86号線って言いまして、昭和21年に都がただ線を引いたところを見直しもしないで50年間待たせましたっていうことで、6年後のオリンピックまでに20メーター道路をですねずっと走らせるようになってるんです。その道路っていうのは環七も環八もできてない時に昭和21年に作った道路なんですね。いや、北区の赤羽の太田道館のお城のあったところはトンネルにして、それをオリンピックのですね強化練習がして建物があるところが板橋にあるんですが、サッカー場のところまで自然公園を通りそこまで行くんですね。そういう道を10メーター道路で20メーター道路を作るっていうことで、そういう道があちこちに東京都内に27キロあるんです。で4月までに作れば1100万ぐらいできたのが、4月以後のその 8% の消費税やその他のことで2000万かかるんですね。それを単純に計算しましても5400億、そのお金があるんならもっと私たちはねオリンピックにいろいろもうちょっとかけていただいた方がいいんじゃないかっていうことを考えて、それは舛添先生さんがすごく推進していると。木密地域をそれは通るようにしてあるっていうんですが、全然その昭和21年にそういうところでも何でもないんです。そういう無駄なお金の税金を使わないで6年後にそういうのはできないと思うんですね。100軒のお家があったとしても。
Can you wind up your question?
Yes.
ちょっとスピードアップしてください。
そういうことで、それを本心かどうかね、ちゃんとオリンピックに私たちはもお金を使ってほしいってことなんです。そういう道路を作らないでっていう本気かどうかを伺いたいと思います。
If I can interrupt, I mean, maybe I can make a broader question out of that question. So, I mean, basically what the lady is talking about is the costs of the games. And one of the concerns people have, I suppose, is, every Olympic Games since 1960 has run over budget. And the 1964 Games were particularly over budget. And they also started Japan's addiction to bond issuance. It was one of the sort of landmarks. So I think a lot of people are concerned that the games are going to cost money, they're going to overrun, and they're going to end up costing taxpayers money. So maybe if you could say something about the cost of the games. I was hoping that question would come up.
The task of political leader is just to put the priority to the policies, right? And you have to understand there are many residents who are against the reconstruction or construction of the roads or highways, so that it takes time, it takes a cost. And so I'm looking all over the policy areas and I'm giving the priorities. So that if you pick up this way and this one, you can say, oh, this is a waste of money or this is something. But in all, this is a package of policies that counts. よく問題分かってますけれども、それだけの問題じゃなくて、ただ道路の作ることだけでなくて、住民をどう説得するかっていうようなことにもかかってるんで、 やりたくなくてやってなくじゃなくて反対する方もおられたんで、個々の事情があると思いますけども、全体を見ながら政治をやっていきたいと思っております。はい。
So can you assure people then that the games are not going to cost taxpayers a lot of money? I think that's basically what people want, a reassurance that.
Yeah, I said I cut 200 billion yen. Normally that's a bit. They proposed 150 billion yen, but I checked everything, and that cost it up to 450 million yen.
Billion yen.
Billion yen. So I say it's crazy, and taxpayer will not accept that. So I reduced to 200 billion yen.
So the current cost is 200 billion yen. No, the current cost is
250 billion yen. Yes.
Yen. Okay, thank you. Gentleman at the back, please. Thank you.
Hugh Ashton, freelance. I'd like to ask Governor Masuzoe what his personal opinion is on legalized casinos as either revenue sources or sources of moral degeneracy, given that we've just seen a report that 5% of Japanese appear to be addicted to gambling, even though it's illegal.
Okay, thank you. Because of the Mr. Abe's decision to dissolve the diet, this law, this bill was not passed at our diet. And there are pros and cons. I mean, there are good things about casino, but there is a demerits about casino. So we have to raise up all the points and discuss more. This is my question. So that, for example, I just checked even in London some casinos, and at the entrance, there are some kind of explanations, the papers saying that, as you said, this is very, very dangerous if you, pour such an amount of money. But now, my point is we need more deliberation, more discussions nationwide. And what I should say is those who promote the casino sets, without casino, Japanese economy will not be revived. This is a mistake. Without casino, I can make Tokyo's economy, raise again. So this is my answer. Okay?
If Tokyo can be revived without the casino, do you want to say you're against the casino, or do you still support the casino?
It's a very, very difficult question. My point is, my answer is not so direct. Compared to London, New York, Paris, one of the weak points of this big city, Tokyo, is you don't have the entertainment after dinner, right? You can enjoy the dinner, but after dinner, where to go?
Pachinko parlors.
Huh?
Pachinko parlors.
Yeah, but pachinko is not considered gamble, right? On Japanese law, this is in Japanese yugi. How do you translate yugi?
Entertainment.
Entertainment. This is not gamble. So, but it depends on some kind of concert, opera, or anything. So we badly need the after dinner entertainment. Maybe you can include casino, but up to you.
It's
but
not my
I'm not such an the passionate promoter of casino. Neither I'm not such a passionate the denier of casino.
Okay. Carson?
Carsten Germans from Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung in Germany. Let me come back to the cost. You just said, in the beginning, you told us what you already postponed. If I understand...
Olympic Games?
Yes, with the Games. Yes. If I understand the Japanese situation at the moment clearly, the government is already planning the next fiscal spending programs because Abenomics obviously didn't work up to now. Fiscal spending mainly means construction work, in the past, in the present. I heard from private companies in Tokyo it's difficult to find construction companies, and if you find construction companies, prices is getting, yes, higher and higher. It's much more than inflation even Bank of Japan dreams of. So if this process continues, and it will continue the next year, can you really guarantee it will work? Or do you expect you have to cut off and postpone more of the program that you already did? Because it's quite ambitious, which is still left. And if you have to pay, did your Prime Minister Abe give some sort of guarantee of supporting Tokyo to make it possible? This is the first question for the cost. And the second is, the Prime Minister announced everything is under control with regard to Fukushima Daiichi. Progress is obvious. This is true, but they have problems. They have problems with the water. It's not solved after 2 years. They have problems with the storage, which is not readily cleared. And nobody really knows what's happening with number 1, 2, 3. So how far does the government inform the Tokyo Metropolitan Government what's happening there? Are you informed, or do you just have to trust?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. About the cost of the games, as you know, because of such a demands for the devastated area of Tohoku because of the tsunami and the earthquake, you know, the shortage of labor and the soaring cost of materials will raise up all the cost. But there are still many companies who would like to work. So I think there is no problem at all. And what I think about is, for example, as I told you, the 2020 games is not a goal. This is just one step. I'm looking for the future, the 50 years, 60 years, and more. So that's, for example, JR will extend the special line from Tokyo Station to Haneda Airport. It takes only 17 minutes from Tokyo Station to Haneda, but it takes more than 10 years. So that even after the 2020 games, we will continue public works, and I think there is no problem at all. Of course, there is a question of soaring cost, but we can manage that. And about Fukushima issues, I don't receive any special information or data from the government. It's all open. I rely upon the open data. And but what I'd like to say is, in Tokyo, we are increasing the share of the natural energy, and currently renewable energy. You say only 6% of total, the energy that Tokyo uses. In 10 years, this figure will rise up to 20%. This morning I have the special meeting about this issue. So this is really ambitious, target that at least we'd like to provide with solar energy, wind energy, our energy is our own efforts. So and also about the first question, we don't rely upon the national government. We can manage ourselves. National government would like to depend upon us because we are a rich city. For example, National Stadium, they say they have to ask the cover the 1/3 of the total cost. But my answer is no for the moment, because I was never asked by the minister in charge of the Olympic Games. And for the moment, we are fortunately enough rich city, so that we can manage by ourselves.
Dozo. And then this lady at the back.
Süddeutsche Zeitung Neidhardt. Just following up on the National Stadium.
Yes.
There's a huge controversy about the National Stadium, yes, with some people saying it's destroying that whole area of Yoyogi and other, and it's megalomaniac. And especially the bidding committee actually told the International Olympic Committee that they will reuse and renovate the National Stadium of 1964, and now they have this huge project. So what's your personal position on that?
Well, before answering your question, as I told you, or the gentleman, Frankfurt Allgemeine Zeitung, national stadium will be constructed by the national government. So I have no right, no words, So Mr. Abe or the national government will construct, and they have the words, they have the power, they have the authority. The governor of Tokyo has nothing to do with that, unfortunate. So, but problem is, this national stadium is in Tokyo area. So the surrounding nature, this is my responsibility. So I am, for example, discussing with Meiji Shrine. Vast percentage of this land is owned by Meiji Shrine. So they have some words. So I'm listening to those who are, the stakers. And if I can propose to the government something, I can do that. But for the moment, I'm really busy with my own venues, so that you can ask directly to Mr. Abe. He will have some answer.
Best of luck with that. So you're saying you've no power at all over what happens to that stadium, or very little power?
Yeah.
Okay. This lady down the back, please, first, and then Joel I saw next, and then this gentleman here. And I think we've got 8 minutes left, so if you could keep your questions as short as you can, thanks.
Well, I don't know if the answer can be short, but anyway, Elaine Kurtenbach, Associated Press. Thank you for your presentation. Since you're a veteran politician and you've been involved in national politics, I'm interested in your opinion about the decision to call the sudden election, so-called sudden election, and what it means in terms of the state of Japanese democracy and Mr. Abe's reforms. Do you think this will really move the reforms along, or it's just yet one more delay in a long series of delays that have kept much from happening so far?
Oh, very delicate and difficult question, and it's up to Mr. Abe. He can decide everything that he likes under our constitution. But the real issue will be the how to estimate the outcome of Abenomics, and those who support him say, well, it's okay. Everything is going well, and the wages are up, and etc. But opposition party said exactly the opposite things. So the final decision will be made by the voters, but still we have to many areas and fields that we have to change drastically, so that after the election, I don't know what will be the outcome. Our nation will go forward to another good reform and the renovations.
I think the question was asking for your opinion, which you didn't really give. Would you be able to give an opinion
about
on whether you agree with the decision to call the election? That's basically what it is, right?
Yeah. So I said under the Japanese constitution, the final word is to the prime minister. So I say, or this is he follows the constitution. I say nothing about that.
Okay. Who did I see next? Joel, I think it was next. Yeah. Did you want to ask a question? After that.
Bonjour. Yeah.
A short one if you can, Joel. We're running out of time.
I try. Joël Lejeune, RTL France TV. Very quickly, a year ago, your predecessor has resigned for a money scandal. Tokuskai, for example, I think I heard the name Tokuskai today. Tokuskai name. How do you review? I mean, how do you reflect on that? And what have you been doing for trying to secure that there is not too many money scandal under your mandate?
So your question is, how do you avoid money scandals?
I abide by the law. That's all.
Great, short answer. I think I saw this gentleman. Yeah. Michael, did you have your hand up?
Erich Bonat, freelance journalist from Germany. Your plan is to put 100,000 hydrogen vehicles on the road and subsidize the
Yes.
filling stations. Are there any plans to switch public transportation to hydrogen? And if you subsidize the filling stations by 100%, shouldn't the citizens of Tokyo own the stations? And are you expecting other clean energies to demand the same subsidies for their products and their infrastructure?
Yes. Thank you very much. For example, Tokyo bus, our own bus, will be FCVs very soon, and our official cars also. As soon as possible. But the problem, why I said that, Toyota produces only 400 vehicles per year in the coming 1 year. Hydrogen and FCVs. But already 75% are blocked as already many prefectures promised to buy. So it's only 100 FCVs that we can, but we will buy little by little. Okay. Everyone can own. You can own the hydrogen station, but normally owner of the gas station will change or have because they have the experiences how to make money with the cars. So that maybe these guys will, open, because with zero cost, you can open the hydrogen station. But how to manage? It costs. So it's very difficult for the ordinary person to run the stations.
David, is it? Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, I think we've run out of questions from the working press. Michael, I think you'll be the last question.
Governor Masuzoe, it's good to see you again, and thanks very much for your comments. You've already mentioned the Tohoku region. I would say that a sympathy from the world was at least operating in the decision to bring the Olympics to Japan again, the Tokyo Olympics. Yes. You've mentioned the question about construction capacity. I would say, if I may, and ask your opinion, without serious reconstruction moving forward over the next 6 years, I think it would be a real insult to the Tohoku and a misappropriation of funds if indeed all of it went to the Olympics. Could you see a balanced development, redevelopment of the Tohoku and all of these expenditures for the Olympic Games?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I do agree with you that saying that Tohoku is number one priorities, and we are making many efforts. We are dispatching many our officials still to these areas, and they're very grateful to us. And also the government is pouring much money, but they manage very poorly, so that it takes too much time. But we have to accelerate. And also, in terms of Olympic Games, soccer, football, and maybe basketball, preliminarily the match will be held in Tohoku area. That will help. And in this summer, every summer, we have some kind of marathon between long distance marathon between Tohoku and Tokyo, and the people are really helping Tohoku. So we would like to achieve a couple of goals, reconstruction of Tohoku and success of the games. Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot to identify myself. David Satterwhite, Associate Member.
Thank you.
Actually, I forgot to remind you. Michael, last one. Thanks.
Michael Chuchek with Temple University, Japan Institute of Contemporary Asian Studies.
Just come a little bit closer to the microphone.
I'm sorry. Governor, you have talked about just now the Tohoku, but it's not just the Tohoku, it's the whole of Japan.
That's right.
Japan as a whole, one of the two laws that just passed in this abbreviated sessions were the rural revitalization laws. What is Tokyo's relationship with the rest of Japan? You've talked about the development of Tokyo and the growth of Tokyo. How is that growth going to be extended? Or what is the message that you want to send to the rest of Japan about Tokyo's growth?
Yeah, Thank you very much. It's a very good question.
The background is some people are saying that Tokyo is becoming this monster which is sucking everything in from the rest of the country and at the expense of the rest of the country.
Former Minister Masuda, my colleague, for example. But, we have the gathering of the all governors of 47 prefectures, and we have formed special team in the midst of association of governors to have really the spirit of all nation games, so that we have some special organization which help other prefectures to, I don't say distribute the wares, but those we gain will be distributed to the other areas. And for example, foreign tourists come to see the games 2020 in 6 years. They will not only go to Tokyo, but go to see the Mount Fuji or Kyoto, Nara, or Kyushu, or Hokkaido, everywhere. So we have the special team with other 46 prefectures to accommodate these facilities. For example, those who want to go to Okinawa, where we can help them, and also to go to Mount Fuji, so that that will help foreign nation. And my point is, unfortunately enough, after the 20 years deflation, we are suffering from still economic stagflation. Maybe it's a reason why Mr. Abe dissolved the national diet, so that now Tokyo, prefecture of Tokyo is playing a role of locomotive, and we have to carry other 46 cards. So I said to the governor of Osaka, to the governor of Hokkaido, governor of Nagoya, Aichi, the governor of Fukuoka, you carry with me, you play role with me. This is only one locomotive, too heavy, 46 cars. Tokyo plus Osaka, Aichi, Kanagawa, for example, these wealthy cities and prefecture can work together with us. If not, it's impossible to carry this long train to the head of the mountain. So this is what I'm saying. And, this is not zero-sum game. We are making money, not at the cost of the other regions. This is win-win game. You win, I win. Tokyo make much money. You will make much money. Or take those tourists come to Tokyo to your area, right? And then with these tourists, hotels and restaurants, you can make money. So that both regions and Tokyo will be successfully prosperous in the coming years. This is my goal, and I assure you that I'm working very closely with the governors of other prefectures. So please don't worry. Okay, thank you.
Doesn't look like he's worrying. Well, I'm gonna push you for one last question because I have the mic. There's been rhetoric for years about the number of foreigners in Japan and like a properly globalizing country, but the number of foreigners in Japan is still very low. It's about 2%, I believe. Can you see a situation where the Olympics and in the years ahead, the Olympics might trigger an influx of people who not tourists, not the kind of thing you've been talking about, but an influx of foreigners living here, like millions of foreigners living here. Can you see a situation like that?
Yeah, so that's it's a reason why I just proposed to have the financial center, especially headquarters of Asia, and the drug center. I mean the pharmaceutical industries, like the Fujifilm, affiliate of Fujifilm, produced the very good drug for the vaccination for the Ebola, and this is one of the typical signs of success. So in Nihonbashi area, you'll have these couple of centers, financial and pharmaceutical. So many talented persons from abroad will come and live. So we can provide with the environment and the situation. I said international schools and hospitals, you can make yourself understood in English. And if you'd like to make your own company, You did in Japanese, but now you can make it just in English. So not only tourists, but residents, foreign residents will live in Tokyo. And one of the dream is we have 6,000 apartment house that is the athlete village. After the games, that will change into the 600 apartment house. Why don't you live in this former village of athletes? It's comfortable, and it takes only 10 minutes from there to Ginza, and to go to the airport, it's near, and that is one of the idea. So I'd like to change the Toyosu, Ariake, Odaiba, this area into the international community, so the foreign journalists can live also that vicinity. I hope so.
You could catch instant headlines around the world if you put a figure on the number of foreigners you think would live in Tokyo. If you put a figure on the number of what percentage or.
For the moment, not resident, the tourists, 10 million tourists are coming per year. But this year, more than 10 million. And in 6 years, we will have 20 million foreign tourists, foreigners will come. And 18 million foreigners will come to Tokyo. This is our estimated figure. But as far as residents are concerned, I have not a precise figure, but I'll check. And next time, I hope that I can tell you our goal.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to apologize to you because we did promise to end at bang on 4:30, and we're a little bit over. Sorry to people who had their hands up. But thank you very much to the governor for coming along and speaking to us and being quite frank and speaking in English as well, which we always appreciate. So please do show your appreciation for him, and hopefully he'll come back in a year's time and tell us what's going on in the city. Thank you so much.
ありがとうございました。Thank you very much indeed. どうもありがとうございました。